I'm a high school social studies teacher, and I wanted to do a recap on what it was like teaching during the pandemic. So, at the end of the 2020 school year, we were totally remote and we were asynchronous, which means that we weren't teaching directly to the students live. We were making YouTube videos and then issuing assignments and then holding office hours that they had to check into once a week. And it was just a total train wreck. There were no trainings for us to learn how to do any of these things. I was a little bit ahead of the game because I already made YouTube videos and already had the recording equipment and already had the editing software and things like that. But I feel really bad for teachers that were totally blindsided, especially older teachers. We had a huge amount of students just fall off the face of the planet and not do the work at the end of last year. So going into this year, our school board was really focused on making sure we provide an in-person option. So we came into the year with the intention of being fully in person, but we're a pretty small poverty-stricken school, so we had to provide that online option for students that just totally refuse to come, because if we don't provide an education, we don't get funding for that student. So all the teachers at our school had to teach normal in-person classes, but also create an asynchronous curriculum that posted 2 lessons every single week. For people like me, that about doubled the work. But again, for teachers that couldn't really do it in the first place, like your normal teacher doesn't know how to make videos, it about tripled the work. At this time, you're probably wondering why we were asynchronous rather than synchronous, meaning that we would teach over Google Meets or Zoom live to the students. And the reason is we're in such a middle of nowhere poverty-stricken district. Most of the students don't have internet at home or even reliable internet at home. So we couldn't really require kids to be on a live streaming Zoom call, which requires a lot of bandwidth. But for kids without good internet, it was reasonable to let them let a YouTube video load or go to McDonald's once a week and download their schoolwork, or the local library or whatever. And so we went through the school year doing this, and it was really rough at times. And I can't speak for other teachers, but through no fault of my own, it really felt like I was failing my online kids. I actively didn't feel good at teaching this past year. And again, I cannot imagine teachers that didn't already know how to make videos and edit videos. And frankly, we're in a really similar boat to the way we were last year at the end of this year, where a lot of our online kids haven't really done the work and a bunch of them are going to fail. So the school has kind of a couple options going forward. One is just treat the kids that failed or didn't do the work online like they didn't do the class and just make them redo the classes next year. Good parts of that is that they'll definitely get the material. The bad parts is these lower level classes are going to be huge because it's going to have the incoming classes in those classes and then the quarter of the students that failed because they just didn't do the online work, which has a compounding effect over the course of a few years and will affect us for the next 4 years. The next solution are credit recovery classes, which means every subject area provides a credit recovery class. If you didn't do the work online, then you do that work during a credit recovery class next year. And the issue with credit recovery classes is you don't really get the same learning as you would if you were in a normal class, but it would be a really easy cleanup to the class itself. But again, this would be a compounding effect over the course of the next few years and will definitely affect us. And the third's just to throw out the credit, which I'm really afraid of. There's a lot of talk amongst parents that online learning was too hard and too difficult to self-regulate, and we shouldn't punish kids for that. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. They have announced, though, that we are not providing an online option next year and we'll be back to fully in person. But the effects of this pandemic are going to follow us for quite a few years, no matter what solution we choose to the kids that were online that just didn't do the work. And I'm excited for next year, having half the work I would have this year and not having to teach online. I'm so pumped because I don't know how many years I would survive with in an already pretty underpaid position having double the work that I would normally have. But how was your pandemic learning or teaching if you're a student or teacher or even a parent? I really want to know. You should let me know in the comments. This is mostly just a brain dump. I didn't really have a plan for this video. I just feel like I should talk about it because I think people are interested. If you're interested in any of the other things that I do, I play guitar in a pop punk band. I'm also the varsity wrestling and esports coach, and I make YouTube videos and stream on Twitch. And I also have a community on Discord that you should join. The links to all those different things are in the description. It'd be really awesome if you check those out. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope next year's school year is better. Bye-bye.